What's going on, team? Welcome to an episode of the Keep Going Podcast, Season 2. This is your co-host, Luke Wheat, coming out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Before the show starts, make sure to follow us on our socials, okay? Twitter, the Keep Going Pod, Insta, the KG Podcast, and YouTube at the KG Pod. Just a reminder that we are not psychiatrists and not psychologists, just a couple ex-athletes trying to make a difference and end the stigma of mental health. Thank you guys for listening, and let's get to the show. What's going on, team? Welcome to the Keep Going Podcast, Athletes Shining a Light on Mental Health. This is episode 80. Co-host Luke Wheat coming out of TK Constructors, Econo Lodge, Taco Bell, Burger King off I-65 in Northern Kentucky. What's going on, Pat?
Hell of an intro. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm usually the guy that is on the go for this podcast. I am sitting in a chair for the first time in probably 5 episodes. Luke and Spence are going to carry the weight for us, man. Where are you guys headed?
Spence. He's got the skinny pop going. We're heading to Independence, Kentucky, then Florence, y'all. So that's what we're into today. Seeing the family.
What's the occasion? Seeing the family?
Yeah, seeing the family, seeing the nieces and nephews. So I got a brother that's he's a preacher in Northern Kentucky in Florence now. He adopted a little boy from India about a year ago now, and Spence hadn't met him yet. So we're getting her up there to meet the new addition to the family, which is going to be good.
Love it, man. Family first on this Sunday. As always, I am over at the HQ, if you can't tell by the giddy up right here. And
there you go.
Another Sunday of lessons out here. Super blessed, super fortunate to work with athletes all over the state of Illinois, Wisconsin. So happy to be
absolutely. Here. Servicing the Midwest one swing at a time.
That's it, man. Look, I got to be very transparent, man. We are human beings, too, and we understand that other people are human beings.
That's right.
80 episodes. This is only our second time we had a guest not show up for an episode. So, Luke, what do you think about that?
No, man, it is what it is. And I think kind of the whole structure of Keep Going is that we just kind of make hay with what we got. So it's kind of a cool opportunity, if you look at it that way, for us to get a little bit more interactive with our guest today. So, Pat, you kind of want to go into that? You got any questions for the guest to comment on our post this week?
Yeah, man, I think the big thing that I want to touch on is, like, per usual, like, what are you doing for yourself this week for mental health? And then what are you doing for other people's during your daily life this week for your mental health? So I'll elaborate that a little bit. I want to see people this week not only showing what they're doing for their own and how they're loving themselves, but also how you're loving others and spreading the good news and really making sure that you're not only filling your own cup, but filling others as well. Luke, how about you, man?
No, 100%. I think it's easy for me during the school time to feel like I'm doing a lot. Whenever summer comes around, it's always this back and forth with myself, trying to keep the same wake up time, not get too lazy. Not gone well this year. So we've been waking up later. We've been sleeping later in the day. So trying to get back on the right path this week. For me, I've been doing a ton for my own mental health this week, but I think what I'm going to try and do this week is write hand letters and get them in the mail, get them out there. Kind of like what I was talking about last week in the Max Orput episode, right? Try and make more of a physical connection to people instead of be on the phone a ton and calling and texting. Trying to get a little bit more snail mail, a little bit more in people's lives in a physical way.
No, love that, man. It goes beyond just checking those boxes, right? Like, it's not only establishing that connection, but grooming those relationships and really impacting, right? I think there's a fine line between just doing stuff to do it and doing stuff to make an impact. So I like that for sure. Like I said, on my end, I'm trying to make sure, especially with Ashton back now, that I'm spending more time on our relationship, helping our friends and families, because now we are wedding planning and really making sure that I'm filling my cup as well in order to fill others' people's for sure.
I'm about to say, I don't know if we've shouted that off or shouted that out enough on the podcast. So shout out to Pat and Ashton for getting engaged. What's it been now? 2 or 3 weeks here, Pat?
Yeah, man, 2 weeks. We're extremely excited about it, man. It's love in its greatest form. I'm a very lucky guy, and Ashton, if you're listening, man, you're an idiot. I don't know why you'd ever do this. So.
Well, I hope she's listening. I know she's your biggest supporter, and she supported the podcast in many other ways. I think, if you look at the people in our lives, they're kind of what inspire this podcast. So Ashton is no different to anybody else in our life. She's inspired our topics on here. She has been a guest on this podcast. So we got to shout out Ashton and the kind of the impact that she makes in your daily life as well. So moving on, I want to hear from our listeners this week. We're about 10 minutes in here. I want to hear from you guys. So get in the comments and let us know what you're doing for yourself this week and what you're going to do for another person this week. I think that's big for me.
Yep, that's a big point of this. I mean, like you said before, we kind of just keep going, kind of rolling with the punches. We have our ups and downs, our in-betweens as we go on, but just stay in the course, understanding that good things are coming, man. So, yeah, share that love. We'll have a post and a thread coming up. And I know Luke is traveling across the great country. So, Luke, safe travels to you, my man.
Absolutely. And one last shout out to Dave Mitchell, man. Thanks for coming on the team. Thanks for crushing it on TikToks, the Instagram, and snowboarding out there. Snowboarding in May, might I add. So he's living the dream out there and doing what we preach on a daily basis. So thanks to Dave for joining the team, too.
I couldn't agree more. I think David Mitchell has been one of those culture ads, right? Like anytime that you lose someone like a Jackie Tripp on our side, like you worry kind of what's happening next and what's going to go on after that. And Davis came in, not only he's done what we've asked of him, but he's gone above and beyond. He's led a couple episodes, he's jumped on a couple episodes. David Mitchell, just a stand-up guy. And if you haven't listened to his episode, man, it's great to have him a part of our team now for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Pat, I'm going to let you go here, get back to the AHQ, get back to service in the Midwest, one swing at a time. But we appreciate you, man. Above all else, keep going.
Keep going, baby. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.
See ya.